Hey, what is going on guys, Danny here, hope you've all been doing well. In this video, I wanted to take a look at Hori's GameCube controller for the Nintendo Switch. So, long story short, I was excited to pick up Smash for my Nintendo Switch, but completely forgot about ordering an adapter for the Switch, so I could use my original GameCube controller. And Nintendo, being Nintendo, didn't produce enough, so they were sold out everywhere. Okay, no problem, I'll just have to grab Nintendo's new GameCube controller. But nope. That won't solve my problem either because I would still need an adapter for it. In 2018, you would have thought by now that Nintendo would have just manufactured the controller with a USB Type-A connection. But I guess we'll just add that to the list of things Nintendo is behind on. Anyways, desperate for a solution because I refused to play Smash with any other controller, I ended up grabbing Hori's Battlepad, which is just a fancier word they're using for a GameCube controller. I tend to stay away from third-party console accessories as I haven't really had the greatest experiences with them, but Hori has actually surprised me. This controller has turned out to be much better than expected. So let's take a look, shall we? Now, Hori had released their version of the GameCube controller back in late November of 2018, just in time for the Smash Bros. Ultimate release for the Nintendo Switch. But they aren't just some new third-party vendor who make console accessories, but they've been making controller accessories for the Nintendo Switch for quite some time now, and their accessories are officially licensed by Nintendo. Looking at the controller itself, I have to say I'm quite impressed. Visually, it looks very similar to an original GameCube controller. Looking at the two side by side, and it would be hard to tell the difference that one is a first party controller and the other is a third party controller. Of course, being a huge fan of the Zelda series, I had to grab the black version with the Triforce printed on in the middle. You get all the same buttons and thumbsticks you'd find on a regular GameCube controller. Everything is in the same spot, the layout is exactly as you'd expect it to be. Of course, there are some changes to make it more compatible with the modern console. These changes include the addition of the home button, the screenshot button, and the plus and minus menu navigation buttons. There's also a turbo button included, so just keep that in mind because this will not make the controller tournament legal. On top of the controller, the shoulder buttons have also been changed. Unlike the original GC controller which had the L and R buttons with the Z button on the right, you now get L and R plus ZL and ZR shoulder buttons. Except on this controller, they've been swapped when you compare it to the original Pro controller or the Joy-Cons. An odd choice as this can be confusing to get used to at first, but if you want you can revert back to the original layout. They do allow you to switch them around, which is convenient. This controller also doesn't have NFC or motion controls, but I wouldn't really expect to see those features from a $30 controller anyway. However, the lack of rumble at the very least was disappointing. Now let's talk about the feel and experience I had using the controller. Overall, I have to say that I'm impressed. In my hands, the controller felt pretty close to an original GameCube controller. This controller also has a slightly wider profile, and I have to say I prefer that instead, as it allows me to comfortably hold the controller since I had gotten so used to the wide structure of an Xbox One controller and the Pro controller. The two handles of the controller also have this rough style texture on it to provide the player with more grip. It can be quite helpful, especially if you're someone whose hands may get quite sweaty while playing. I also found that since the shoulder buttons are toggle switches, rather than push down triggers, it significantly decreases travel time, allowing you to get your shield up or dodge faster in just the right time. The A, B, and the rest of the buttons also feel a lot more tactile than my original GameCube controller, whereas the older one felt mushy and sometimes you might not even be able to notice you're pressing down on a specific button. This probably was the result of the wear and use over the years, but nonetheless it's an improvement I've noticed by using the Hori controller. Also, the D-pad is considerably larger, though in games like Smash it's obviously not that useful. The analog sticks also feel very similar to the original GameCubes. The only minor gripe I had was that the travel path for the C-stick is slightly longer. The plastic shell that they use also doesn't feel as solid as Nintendo's GameCube controller, however the controller is much lighter, so that could be an advantage or a disadvantage depending on how you look at it. The controller is a wired controller if you hadn't noticed by now, however the wire they include is very long, at 10 feet, so you shouldn't have too much trouble with sitting placements. Also, the fact that they use a USB Type-A connector means that you can use this on your PC, which allows the controller to be a lot more versatile, so you can use it for things like emulators. Overall, playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with Hori's new GameCube controller has been a delightful experience. Very close to the experience with Smash Bros. Melee I had back in my childhood. The controller felt very responsive, I didn't notice any sort of latency issues, and was able to play Smash just like I was always used to. I had even tested out the left stick and didn't notice any sort of drifting or spontaneously unexpected register. So if you're in the market for an alternative to the GameCube adapter to play games like Smash on your Nintendo Switch, I highly recommend checking out Hori's Battlepad. At this price point, you really can't go wrong. If you're interested in picking one up, I'll leave a link down in the video description. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video to be interesting and informative. Leave a like if you did. Leave your comments down below, check out the video description for my other videos and ways to support the channel. If you're interested in more content like this, then make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.